Alright guys, Stan and we are gonna head over to a client's house and take a look at this project.
Yeah,
and
we've got, it's going to be interesting. We're going to be correcting the drainage, but it's going to be underground. Nobody's going to be able to see anything. I'm going to show you what exactly I mean. And I mean, we're going to be controlling the subgrade. So we're going to modify the subgrade, and then we're going to bring in the base material for this paver driveway prep. And then the driveway stays perfectly level, but all of the water goes through the driveway, hits the sub base, goes into our drain tile, and gets directed where we want it to. It's not that difficult.
Okay. Awesome. This is all new to me, so that's why I called on the professional to help out. So let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right, so we are on location and Stan is talking to the client. And he wants us all pavers.
Yeah, there's a breaker right here that you can turn off. So that was just so it wouldn't fall into a hole.
Yeah.
And there's a...
Yeah, you must have been pretty gentle to be able to move that. You're smiling because you know of us, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so what I'm looking at on the inside is I'm trying to keep every possibility wide open. First thing I'm looking at is the elevation of the sill plate. That's where the concrete meets the wood, right? Now we can vary by code up to 8 inches. Now every area is going to be different. I don't know what it is in Jackson, Minnesota. But in my neck of the woods, you can come within 8 inches of that, but you don't ever want to bury the sill plate. But you also have a lower grade right here, meaning we could install a window well for you, raise the grade using non-permeable soils, and kick all of the surface water down and away from the house, because right now it's coming in. I mean, I can look at it. I don't have to dig too deep to look, but I see you've covered it up there, and look behind you. You can see where you're getting moisture infiltration.
Down here, I know exactly where that was coming from. That was from the stairs that are kind of separated away.
Okay.
And I did a quick patch.
Okay. It's probably used some caulking in there.
Yeah, some concrete in the tube stuff.
So what we're going to do is we want to keep the water from getting even to the house. First thing that we're going to do is make sure that the water doesn't come in so we can then try to pump it back out.
Right.
But I've got to know that if your sill plate was below the window, which is typically where a sill plate will usually be,
right,
then we can't change your grade. But you're lucky, Chris, when it boils down to it.
Yeah.
We can modify the grade and at least get the water from this area to flow away from your house. Now what we do from that point, how we control it, that's plan B. So let's look at where we're going to push this water to, right? We want to push it away from this area, which would mean we probably have to saw cut the concrete here.
Yep.
And kick the subgrade going this way. Stay in it.
Comb my hair.
All right, so we've got to get a game plan for Chris put together. We got a number of pieces to this puzzle that we're going to be doing, okay? First thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to control any water that's coming and falling down. You've got all these non-permeable surfaces, your roof of your garage, your roof of your house over there. Chant, take a look at that. You see where that downspout is? That's dumping water right where he doesn't want water to go. So we've got to address all of these issues. While you're focusing in on that part, we might as well start right there, Chris. Right now, what I see is all of this water, at least in this zone, is getting... All the water will saturate through the driveway. It'll hit your sub-base material. It'll come this way. It'll come down into the drain. So you have a 70 by 25 driveway. You have 1,750 square feet. So, is it 70 by 25, Chance?
Yes.
1,680, 1,780 times the lowest possible scenario. You're at $30,000 just for your driveway. If I came in, lowest possible scenario to do just the driveway without correcting the subbase, without importing the clay base soil, we're at $30,000. Now we talked initially your budget was $15,000 to $20,000. Now you can see where that budget isn't going to accomplish what we need to do. But that doesn't mean we can't do this in stages. Here's a critical element. Chris, you can still get what you need. Now you need this, right? You need the water to, and get what you want by doing this in stages. So a good way that we can approach this is to understand the overall concept could be anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 to do this project the absolute right way. That's importing the clay soil, kicking the driveway this way, installing the drainage system going down that way. But we could set up the sub-base material, still give you a working surface, and then the next season or 2 seasons down the road, it gives us the ability to then tweak the driveway. We can say, oh, hey, you know what? We don't have the pavers on right now. And we notice that everything is going great, but I don't like how this one corner is functioning. we can then change that before the hard surface or the permeable, the
Okay.
paver surface goes in place.
Okay.
So we can then take what could be a no game, not even an option in year one, and make it a 2 or a 3 year plan and still give you what you need.
Okay. That's certainly a possibility. And we haven't gone shopping around for home improvement loans yet, so
I love hearing that, Chris. I'd love hearing that, because then we can accomplish what you need done. Then you can add in retaining walls, and you can do little things like that, whatever things that you feel like you need to do. So to give you a concept of what I got to do with your driveway, right? When I do this, what we typically we're going to have to do in a scenario like this is we're going to excavate 70 by 25. We're going to go at least 14 inches deep or more. So we've got 81 cubic yards of material to haul out.
right.
If we're going to put that in the grand scheme of how can I picture that, take a big giant dump truck and fill that up 8 times
Gotcha.
with just the material from beneath the driveway.
Doesn't
That
surprise
goes away.
me.
And then we re-import roughly 6.5 dump truck loads of class 5 base material.
Right.
Okay. And then place that, pack it, install a drain tile system to collect it. Chant has now set up the sub base that everything flows this way, and we know that it's going to work. Now you have, what you're left with is you have a class 5 driveway at that point. Okay.
Okay.
So that's something that you can live with. I mean, it's currently not much different than what you already have. But then down the road, the base material is already there. Chant will have to import just a little bit more base material to bring up the grade.
Right.
Then the sand, and then you can put the paver system in. But you've also have the test of time. So now you've been able to make sure that everything functions the way you want it to for
Goes the way,
a year or 2 years. What Chant's going to do at this point is he's going to start to break everything down for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to meet outside of me, and he'll break the proposal down to just doing the excavation, getting the sub base prepped, and getting your drain tile system installed. And then what he can do from that point, Chant, if I'm getting too far ahead of you, tell me to slow down. But what you can do then is also get this grade reestablished over here, bringing in the soil. If you have to add the window well, take that into consideration. Take into consideration what you've got to do with the door, if that's within your wheelhouse or not. You won't have to change that grade a whole ton by the door, but we've got to make sure we get everything down here. Option will be this retaining wall. Now this retaining wall, when you go to do the demo on this thing, this is going to be like a bomb shelter. This retaining wall is at least 60 to 80 years old, and it's not cracked. It has no issues. So this thing is going to be tougher than you ever could imagine, right? Now another option too, instead of removing that retaining wall to make Chris happy, will be to use a fascia over the top of that thing. We're going to analyze not just this job, but in general what you're going to be doing when you first come out to a job site. So I got a couple hard questions for you. When we got out there, did you know what the customer's budget was?
No.
Why?
It makes me feel like
You're intruding into them. You're overstepping your bounds. So what I need you guys to do, Chant, you to do, is I need you to step back away from that and reprogram the way you think that you're providing them more service when you actually have a budget that you can go from, because you are so absolutely creative and clever. When you step foot onto a property, you can design a number of different things, and without having a clear sense of direction, there's no way for you to come up with a solution that will work for them.
Right.
So do you see what I did with that customer?
Yep.
How fast did I get a budget from him?
Pretty fast. I mean, it was just right on the spot.
Less than 60 seconds.
Yeah.
How fast did I double his budget?
Right then and there.
Exactly. So now you went from putting hours in on a job where you had no clue if the customer would accept it or not, to now, Chant, you are going to design a landscape knowing that the customer has between $30,000 and $40,000 to spend. Does that make you more motivated to do a better job for the customer?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think the customer is going to appreciate knowing that he's got a better blueprint in his hands instead of a dart thrown at the board? Here's what I want to do.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very clear.
It's a win-win situation. So stop thinking that you're overstepping your bounds, because some customers are going to be like that.
Right.
You're going to get that, but a lot of customers are going to respect the fact that you explain it as, I can do $5,000 worth of work, or I could do $50,000 worth of work. I need to know where we're headed so I can do the best work for you possible.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, this customer, just because he had a $15,000 budget, we were able to flip that make it a more realistic budget, $30,000-$40,000. But then you've got to go, all right, can this customer afford that? We just doubled his budget.
Right.
What's the solution to that? So what did we do?
Stages.
Yes.
We're in stages, years, or
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
works for them.
I like working next year.
Right.
I like working 2 years from now. And that's how you do it. You put it in stages. So you make it into bite-sized chunks. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right?
Right.
It's as simple as that. So that's the very first thing that we've got to talk about is stop going out to tire kickers. I wouldn't have even been to his house if I didn't know what his budget was. I established that budget right over the phone. And before you get that comfortable doing it, you go out to a job site, get that budget figured out. Because you're going to have a lot of guys, before you spend hours designing something, they have a $5,000 budget on a $50,000 project.
Then you just wasted your time.
You're wasting your time, and your time is valuable. Because I'll tell you straight up, you're going to have enough work that your phone should be ringing constantly that you can pick and choose which jobs you go to. When I go out to a job site, I already know what the customer's budget is. I already have a good sense of what we've got to do. And all I've got to do is come up with a solution to match their budget. I don't throw darts at the board anymore.
The thing is, I think for me, that's what I've got to get over, is being comfortable asking the budget. Because like you said, you can do a better job knowing the budget. I mean, you should do a better job no matter what, but it's clear.
How do you think you're going to get comfortable?
By asking,
It's not going to be comfortable.
Right.
And you're going to turn a lot of people off.
right.
But that's part of the training that we provide at Dirt Monkey University, is we do role playing. We teach contractors how to get comfortable with the ask.
Right.
Because there's no sense in going out if you don't know what it's going to be. But the first time you ask, you're going to stumble on your words.
Right.
The second, third, fourth time, and this is all potential dollar bills floating out the window, right? So you practice in a safe environment where you get feedback, where people can tell you, oh, that went well, or that didn't go so hot, right?
Right.
And then when you mastered it there, you can then take it out into the field, and you can then do it with a customer. Now, I did that intentionally. I overstepped my bounds on your job on purpose.
Right.
For you. Not for me, but for you to understand how easy it is when you know how to read a customer, how to do the ask.
Right.
How to get it to that next step. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable.
Because I mean, I've done that. I've done the asking before.
Yeah.
But the answer you get, well, we're not sure, or we're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you. And then there's going to be like this guy. This customer, potential customer. He straight.
First thing he said was, "I'm not sure."
Right. Yeah.
But then you already have an automatic setup. What do you say back? Because Chant, you're different than me. You have your own style. You guys watching, you have your own style. How do you overcome the typical objections? And what are the typical objections?
Right.
Well, I'm not sure I'm comfortable saying that, or I don't know. Those are going to be the two.
Right.
And there's stock answers. A stock way that you can overcome those objections. And when I say stock, I mean you just use it from one customer to the next, because there's a very typical response you're going to get.
Right.
And once you know what those responses are, and you know how you're going to frame your response to that, you're on to the next step, which is the most important step, which is getting the budget.
Right.
You get the budget, you can get the design done. You're not putting a $50,000 plan on a $30,000 job.
It's very clear. There's like, nothing's hidden. That's the thing, that when you went in there, just okay, what do you want? What's your budget? And just really clear. We broke it down what the customer really wanted.
And so then there's a strategy to how you break down a job too, because you're going to always avoid the magic mystery lump sum number. But there's a certain way that you want to break it down, that you don't want to give away all your secrets. Now, for contractors, this is very important next step. You don't want to give away all of your secrets, because that can be leveraged against you.
Right.
But you also don't want to say, I will install your driveway for $15,000, right? Even if let's say the customer's budget's $15,000, you get that out of them. You write down, I will install your driveway for $15,000. Part of the problem is you could be doing the dig and they're like, oh, I thought that was an 8 inches of base, not 6.
Right.
Or I thought the driveway extended over to this service door, not halfway to it. Or I thought that included the sidewalk. They're always going to be doing that because guess what? While you're at home thinking about watching Game of Thrones, the customer's thinking about his or her project. That's all they think about. They're excited about it. You're changing their life. But they're also thinking, how could I get this? Oh, I wish I could get that. Oh, well, I'm going to ask. I don't want to spend the money a lot of times. So there's a way to frame your proposal so that you as a contractor are very clear what you are going to do, what you aren't going to do, but still have enough detail in it that actually creates a blueprint. Actually creates a blueprint for what you're going to do. Like I literally hand my proposals over to my guys. Chan, you asked me a question when we were driving here. Said how many guys you got working and how many jobs you doing, etc. etc. There's jobs I don't even go to. I hand over I do the initial site visit. I hand over the proposal, which is a blueprint, and that's my only appearance on the job because I don't have to.
Right.
Because everything is so clear, cut and dry, what we're doing, what we're not going to do. But we cover that in a number of different. You and I can't cover that detail, but we do cover it at Monkey University, where we actually go through a 3-part webinar series on how to do your basic proposals that are going to protect you as a contractor.
Right.
Because the homeowners are always going to have they're always going to be worried about themselves. I want you to worry about you because it's not going to be worried about you to screw them over, not by any means, but you're going to be worried about you, but you're going to be doing a better job for them. Because these guys, when you leave their site, they are your cheerleaders. I'm going to tell you straight up, they're going to put on a tutu and wave pom-poms going, I love Singasa landscaping, right? They're going to do that because you've done such good work for them. So not by any means are you going to do it leveraging off the backs of doing lesser quality work for them. But there's a right way to do it, and then there's a way that could get you in trouble. And we're going to avoid that.